Green Valley International School. Let us join hands to empower the future of nation.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Today we'll talk about Chapter 4, India's Physical Feature Part 2. This is the chapter of Class 4. In Part 3, all we were discussing was Northern Mountains. We have already discussed Northern Mountains and Northern Plains. We have also discussed Northern Plains. So we are left with 2-3 more physical features. One is our Thar, the Great Indian Desert. Other is the Peninsular Half. So let us start. We'll talk about the Thar Desert or the Great Indian Desert. It is basically the northwestern part of India. So this part, this is your Thar, the Great Indian Desert. Now it is clearly visible. This Thar Desert, the major part lies in Rajasthan, state of India, that is Rajasthan. But it also extends to Pakistan. This is your part of Pakistan and this is your part of India. So Thar Desert basically makes natural boundary between India and Pakistan. The boundary is basically the border, natural border between India and Pakistan. Now in India, the state extends, this desert extends to Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana and Gujarat. So these are the states where the Thar Desert extends to. Now, you know what is desert? Desert is basically an arid region, a dry region where there is rainfall, like very less rainfall, below 25 centimeters of rainfall. So, due to very less rainfall, this region is very dry, very arid. Not a lot of vegetation grows here. So, trees like, not very developed trees, but trees like date palm do grows here. So, we'll talk about two important features in desert. First is the sand dunes. We see sand dunes in Thar or every desert. We see sand dunes. What are these sand dunes? These are basically heap of sand, a mountain of sand, which are made due to winds. If there is sand here, wind will come and take this sand and collect it here. ड्यू टू रिपीटेटिव कलेक्शन, बार बार कलेक्शन होगा यहाँ पे सैंड का और धीरे धीरे एक माउंटेन बन जाएगा, एक हीप बन जाएगा. So these are known as sand dunes. These are particularly visible in desert. So our Thar desert, right? Another most important feature is oasis. Oasis we see in desert. These are basically the water bodies in desert. बहुत दूर तक हम देखेंगे सैंड ही सैंड है हर जगह. Suddenly we'll come across a bit of water, kind of a small lake in desert. This is known as oasis, and mostly our vegetation occurs here only. The most of the vegetation of desert occurs here. So we see here date palm growing. We see date palm growing here. Mostly people, the tribal people live here because the soil is a little bit fertile than other, as compared to other region of the desert. Soil is, so we see people settling here. We see a little bit of vegetation. Some crops like bajra, millet can be grown here. We cannot grow rice in a large quantity because paddy, the rice crop, needs a lot of standing water, and that is उसी चीज की कमी है यहाँ पे. We don't have a lot of water here. So we understood oasis, sand dunes. Now we need to know more about the location here. We see here, we see Aravallis. Here we see Aravalli. These are the ranges. What do we say in ranges? What do we mean by ranges? The chain of mountain or the chain of hills. This chain is known as ranges. Range. Okay? So we see wildlife also. अगर पेड़ हैं तो जानवर भी होंगे यहाँ पे. So trees like date palm, certain other plants, we see cactus, bubble here, bubble. These are disease. Okay. So now we talk about the wildlife. Wildlife means what is black buck, nilgai, chinkara, Indian wild ass, camel. Camel are usually known as the sheep of desert. These are the wildlife present here. Then we'll further talk about the tourist attractions here, like the national parks. Now, what are national parks? National parks are basically the area territorialized by government. गवर्नमेंट ने एक एरिया मार्क कर दिया है कि ये हमारा नेशनल पार्क है, यहाँ पे फ्लोरा फौना जो हमारी वाइल्ड लाइफ सुरक्षित रहे, इनको प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए नेशनल पार्क बना दिया. So there are certain most famous national parks here like Sarasota National Park, Ranthambore National Park, Chilodia National Park. These are some of the important national parks in Rajasthan. So moving on to peninsular region now. We are now clear about the Great Indian Desert now. Now we'll talk about the peninsular half, the southern half. Now what is peninsula? What is peninsula? Why do we say the southern part of India is peninsular plateau? Now plateau, what is plateau? This is plain and this is a mountain. In transition to this, a tableland, not highly elevated, moderately elevated is known as a plateau. So that means this is flat elevated land. Now what is a peninsula? Any landmass surrounded by water body from three parts. Here we see Indian Ocean, here we see Bay of Bengal, and here we see Arabian Sea. So three-side water body that makes southern India as a peninsula. And since it is elevated because we have here Western Ghats, these are elevated mountains. Western Ghats stretches from Gujarat to Tamil Nadu, and from Orissa to Tamil Nadu we see Eastern Ghats. So these are elevated. We call them peninsular plateau. So these are Western Ghats, these are your Eastern Ghats, and here this whole plateau is other plateaus too. First we'll talk about two halves. This is your central highlands, and this is your Deccan plateau. The southern part is Deccan plateau. Now Deccan plateau starts with Satpura ranges. This is your Satpura range. Again I have talked about range. Next to Satpura is Vindhyan ranges. The Vindhyan ranges are southern part of Central Highlands. The Central Highlands are occupied between Aravallis and the central part of the Highlands are divided into two more plateaus. The western part is Malwa Plateau and the eastern part is Chota Nagpur Plateau. And this Chota Nagpur Plateau is very rich in mineral resources. And this Deccan Plateau, basically the below part of Satpura ranges, it extends from Satpura ranges till Kanyakumari, which is the southernmost part of India, southernmost point. Now, the central we talk about more ranges and hills. So now we'll talk about some other plateaus that lies in Deccan Plateau. That is Sahyadri. These are the hills, basically semi hills. Sahyadri, Nilgiri. Okay. Sahyadri, Nilgiri, Annamalai and Cardamom. Cardamom is the southernmost in Kerala. Sahyadri, Nilgiri, Annamalai and Cardamom hills or the semi-plateau region. Then the climate. Then we'll talk about the climate here. So the climate varies. Sometimes in some places it's semi-arid climate, some places it's warm, and it also receives monsoon rain from June to October. The monsoon rain also it receives. Now there are also major rivers flowing through the western Ghats and eastern Ghats. Now, Dakkan Valley consists of western Ghats and western side, eastern Ghats and eastern side. So, we'll talk about first Eastern Ghats. Eastern Ghats, we see a lot of rivers flowing here. Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. So, this region is highly fertile and there are a lot of deltas here. So, they form delta and that's why ज़्यादा चौड़े हुए rivers हैं जो कि delta बना रहे हैं. Okay, so we see a lot of hill station here. First is school, then Kodaikanal, Idukuni, and Ooty, and also Wayanad. These are hill stations. So temperature is here is very pleasant. Okay, so it's a famous hill station in Deccan Plateau. Now, what is the importance of the peninsula region? Now, these ghats have many forests. They provide woods, medicines. Even a lot of wildlife can be seen here, like Nilgiri Tahar. Nilgiri, we just read the Nilgiri hills. So, Nilgiri Tahar, it looks like a goat or some idea kind of person, not like a person, an animal. Then we see tigers, we see elephants, we see Indian giant squirrel. Then a lot of crops grown here, chickpeas, sugarcane, groundnuts, millets are some of the important crops here, and a lot of hill stations. So बहुत tourism है, tourists आते हैं. जब भी tourism आए मतलब states को बहुत benefit हो रहा है, economy में benefit होता है. हम जाते हैं कहीं खर्च करते हैं तो हमारा हेरिटेज जो कल्चर तो रिफ्लेक्ट होता ही है. एट द सेम टाइम हमें पैसे भी स्टेट को इकोनॉमिकली भी बहुत बेनिफिट होता है. और स्टेट अगर को बेनिफिट हो रहा है दैट मींस कंट्री को बेनिफिट हो रहा है. सो दीज आर सम इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट्स ऑफ पेनिनसुलर प्लाटू. And at the same time, Thar Desert, we talked about the tourist attractions, the national parks. Then we see the natural boundaries that this Thar makes a natural boundary between Pakistan and India. So it's also internationally also important. So this was all. Now we'll talk about some of the coastal plains and then we'll be done with the lecture. So coast, what is coast? Coast is a land very near to water. If this is your water and this is the land, this is your coast. This is your coast. So this area, this is your coast. India we have east coast and west coast. So starting with, this is your Gujarat coast. Then here, Malabar coast. Here we see, we see here Konkan coast, and then we see here Malabar coast. In Kerala region, we see Malabar coast. Then we see here northern Sarkars in Orissa region, northern Sarkars, and southern parts we see Coromandel coast. Coromandel coast. So this was east coast and west coast. Now we are left with Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Unlike peninsula, they are surrounded by four sides of water. Four side water. Lakshadweep is smallest union territory. Smallest union territory, and also our island, coral island. What are corals? Corals are basically skeletal remains. जो fishes, marine animals होंगे ना वो मर जाते हैं, उनकी skeleton ऊपर scatter होती जाती है. और जो fishes होते हैं वो उनको खाते हैं. आप जब Maldives वगैरह जाओगे देखोगे green water होता है, उसके ऊपर water की just ऊपर एक green color का layer होता है. That is corals. So this is called coral island. This is a coral island, smallest union territory of India. These are both islands and also union territories. Okay. So if someone asks you which union territory is in Bay of Bengal, Andaman and Nicobar. Okay. So this was all for the day. Thank you. I hope you like the lecture.